All right, so welcome to group. Thank you everybody for coming today. I really appreciate your time. Some of the group rules that I have are confidentiality. Everything we say here today stays in this group, and this is a safe space so we can trust each other and be confidential. We're going to respect each other and not pass any judgment. No interrupting and no side conversations. Make sure your cell phones are silenced if you have them out. And we're making this a supportive environment so that everybody can support each other as we talk about stress and coping. Today's topic is stress management and coping skills. So I'd like everybody to take a turn and just kind of talk about what stresses them out and what skills they use to cope with their stressors. And maybe we can get some tips from each other, some ideas or some encouragement on dealing with stressful situations. We'll just see where the group takes us. I'd like everybody to go around and introduce themselves and say one thing that describes themselves. So Jen, if you could start.
Sure. I'm Jen, and I am creative. I think that's a good way to describe myself.
I'm Allison. Curious.
Okay. I'm Jessica, and I don't know. I would say creative, but Jen has creative. So I'll go with, what's a good word? You're super helpful.
I would say shy.
Shy, yeah.
For sure, yeah.
I'm gonna go with shy.
I'm Katie, and I was gonna say creative, but I'm gonna go with supportive.
It's a good one.
I'm Colleen, and I'm gonna go sarcastic.
You were good at that. All right. So let's talk about stress. So I'll do some self-disclosure. I've had a stressful couple of weeks. My mother-in-law passed away pretty suddenly. We didn't know that she had a brain tumor. We didn't know she was dealing with cancer. All of it popped up after she fell while she was walking at home. She was dealing with COVID and collapsed onto the floor. And so we had to call an ambulance, have her picked up and taken to the hospital to get checked out. And it's been a pretty stressful couple of weeks for everybody. And to watch her decline so quickly. So some of my coping skills have been talking with my family and my friends about the situation, and trying to remember the good parts that I had with Karen and the things that she taught me and the positive relationship that I had with her. So, does anybody else want to talk about their stressors for the last couple of weeks and how they've coped?
I can go with mine. I just had a job that I actually just recently left, but it was extremely stressful. It was very toxic. A lot of gatekeeping within the company itself. Worked there for about 4 years or so, and just kind of bottled it up for a while, and then found a couple coworkers I could trust, and then opened up to them and then my family as well. But eventually I had to get out and find a new job, and I've been there for just over a week now, and it's night and day. I mean, just leaving one toxic place to go to something healthy really can change your life. So.
Wow. And so you said your coping skills were?
First, I just kind of bottled everything up. I have stress, at home, even with my mother-in-law, as you know, a lot of stress there with her, and I bottle a lot of that up because I don't want to project that onto my husband because that's his mother, and that makes it hard for our marriage. So I hold a lot of things in and then turn to humor to kind of get through it for myself and even with my kids as they get older. But then I've kind of learned that I've had to rely on family and close friends to get it out, because holding it in isn't healthy either. So just kind of finding those close friends that you can trust, which is hard to do.
Definitely.
So my situation is a little different. I don't work outside the home, but I have 4 children and a husband that I have to organize. So just recently we had 2 birthdays. We have our oldest child whose birthday is April 2nd, and then our second child is the 14th. So we had one birthday that we dealt with and got her settled and taken care of, and then we have the other birthday, who he is a sophomore at IU in Bloomington. So I was able to go down there and take a load of laundry that he left in the dryer when he was home for spring break and get that out of my house. It's annoying me, so I finally got that out. And so get him organized and get there, and was able to decorate his apartment and do some things that we used to do at home when he was little for him. So that was a quick turnaround. And meanwhile, we have the twins who are sophomores in high school still home. So we have to organize all of them, and then my husband is working not one but a second part-time job on his 1 or 2 days off. So and then we watch our cousin's baby 5 days a week. He's almost 18 months old. So yeah, we have a lot. So to keep everybody organized. As far as my coping skills, I don't know that I could tell you specifically, if I'm gonna be honest, what they are. Most days I feel like I want to pull my hair out, but we just get to the next one, I guess.
So you kind of push through.
Yeah, honestly, I do, but it all seems to end up working out. You know what I mean, in the end.
Yeah.
I mean, I've known her for a very long time, so she's seen a lot of how we get through it all. So that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
She's probably
I have a lot of stress. I don't know. So, we just passed the 5-month mark since my mom's death. So that's been big. And starting a new job in the middle of that is quite the added thing. And then I work at a farm on one of my 2 days off, so it's bringing a little bit more money and a little bit of food because the farm gives me food. And we just moved to a smaller rental today. So the process of finding that and then doing all of the move has been quite a lot of stress. So I essentially am working 2 part-time jobs, and my partner is also working at least 2 part-time jobs and trying to find another one, because one of those is substitute teaching, which we're going into the summer, and if they don't find a 3rd thing, we're not going to be making ends meet, and just all of the rolling down, interweaving things that all of that brings. That's a good synopsis. How I deal with that. The farm work, like physical labor, at least helps me deal with the grief part of stress a little bit. Especially because it's like hands in the dirt, kind of connected to nature. That helps me. We recently rented a community garden plot, so the idea is that gives a little bit of security feeling and just something of our own. But also the physical labor is also exhausting, so I don't know, there's trade-offs there. Other than that, I don't know. Try to talk to people when I can, and I go to a therapist, so that's probably smart.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
That's good.
That's what I got.
I got a lot. So I just started a new job in February, and the person that was there before me in that position wasn't there to train me, so it's pretty much been like drinking from a fire hose for the last couple months, which is a lot and kind of stressful because it's just sort of piecemealing everything together. But most of my stress comes from a home. We have a son that's 9 that we adopted from foster care, and he has a disruptive mood dysregulation disorder and ADHD and fetal alcohol tendencies, and so he is a handful on his own and is going through some weird, like, I don't know if it's his age or hormones starting or what it is, but he is angry and, you know, ragey, and he doesn't really do school, and so we're on our way, I think, to probably a behavior analysis for him and possibly sending him to like Lighthouse, which is okay if it's best for him, but still, oh. And so we have that going on, and then also we have my 13-year-old daughter is trying to figure herself out and her identity, and you know, she's right now she's like gender fluid, and we're fine, like whatever, I don't, just be happy, we just want her to be happy, but she still struggles a lot with emotion, and you know, so she has been a cutter, so that has been stressful, because I always think it's kind of at bay, and then all of a sudden it rears its ugly head. So she's in counseling, Joey's in counseling, I'm working full time, my husband is working in outage at the cook plant, and I don't know that, I don't go to counseling because I don't feel like I can squeeze it in. But I don't really know what my coping skills are. Joe, my husband, and I, we can talk about things, but he's so much more rational than I am. So sometimes when I talk to him about my own stress, you know, he just wants to make it better, and it's okay, it's gonna be okay, we're gonna be, you know, but that doesn't always help, you know. But I'm a talker, you know. Sometimes I take over Joey's counseling sessions and use them for my own. The interesting thing that we have coming up at work actually is we're starting this secondary trauma counseling thing with somebody at up at Grand Valley, maybe Grand Valley. Anyway, he is up there, and we have a grant that we're going to use for 3 years to kind of work with him for our staff and our volunteers, but also we can talk to him about our own stuff. So I'm like, I told him, I hope you're ready for my stuff, because I have a lot. So I don't think I cope very healthily at all, because I don't really, I kind of do what Colleen does and just push that down and move on to the next thing, because it's hard to have time, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting.
I feel you.
It's a lot.
All right.
Not mine. I told him my oldest child always calls. I could be dying in the hospital in the emergency room, and my phone would ring, and I'd be like, "It's Mackenzie. It's her." Like, and we have to look and know that it's my oldest child. She'd call at the most inopportune time every single. Yep, all the time.
Okay. So we've covered quite a bit. Thank you, everybody, for being upfront and honest and telling us everything. I really appreciate it. I guess let's go around and say one thing we've learned about ourselves today. How does that sound?
Sure.
Colleen?
Oh man. I guess just recognizing how I do cope with it. Because you don't think about it unless you're really asked, and who comes up and asks you on a daily basis, hey, how do you deal with stress? So yeah, just kind of learning that and recognizing and admitting that it's not healthy, you know, that I do bottle it up and hold it in until it's sometimes too late, but maybe I need to lean more on my friends and my family, so.
I find it interesting that you don't realize, I didn't realize how much I had until I started to say it, and then I'm like,
List it
oh
all
good
off.
Lord, like I did a lot in like the last week. It was a lot more than
Yeah.
than I thought, and then I have a lot every day too that I have to deal with. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. I think I've kind of always got it in the back of my mind, just because of school. It's always, how are you gonna deal with that? How are you gonna deal with that? What's the best way? What's the best way? So I just pay attention. I try really hard to do the best coping I can for myself and keep the lines of communication open, I think. For me.
I have no idea. I don't know. I'm pretty self-aware, and so I have no idea what I like.
That's okay.
Which sounds counterintuitive, but I don't know. I'm very stressed out, but I knew that.
I also feel like, you know, when you start talking about it, you're like, what? You're like, oh my gosh, everybody's listening to me. And they're probably like, stop telling us all your stuff. You have a lot of stress. It just keeps going and going. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, I kind of feel like maybe I want to try to connect with nature more. You said that that was really good for you. And
Yeah.
I am not like a hands in the dirt kind of person. But, you know, other ways I think, you know, would be good for me. That was kind of an intriguing thought, so something I think I might want to look into. You know, in my spare time.
Yeah. All right. I think we're good.
Alright.
Where are we at?
17, almost 18 minutes.
Yeah, we're gonna call it.
All right.
Thank you guys.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome.